Okay, just a quick webinar on Learning Plan 3. The goal here is when you're done with this learning plan, you're going to have a cover letter, sort of a template for a cover letter that you can modify depending on which company that you're applying to. Also a business card, and then finally a follow-up letter that you're going to use once you after the interview, a follow-up letter, a thank you letter. So those are the main takeaways from this learning plan. Also, at one point, I've also got you doing an assignment just to practice email requesting someone to be a reference. We're not going to submit that for assessment in a Dropbox or anything. Just put it in the discussion board, and then we can comment on each other's emails. The key, I think the cover letter, remember we've got your resume already done. The point of a cover letter then is to complement that resume. You don't want to repeat everything's in there that's in your resume. You want to highlight the key things. You want to match your cover letter to the skills, to emphasize the skills and abilities that you have that fit the job description. So the key thing is to take a look at the job description, the posting for the job, and find out what it is that they're looking for. And of course, you're going to modify your resume to fit that. And then the cover letter. I generally think a cover letter is a three-paragraph communication. First paragraph is a little bit about where you found it, where you saw the ad, what piqued your interest about that particular job, and then a beginning, a sentence on how your skill set fits what they're looking for. And then you follow up on that with a second paragraph that you've had the transition of the sentence saying how your skill set fits. The next paragraph is going to be specific about things you've done. You're going to highlight why it is that you fit, why it is that your skill set fits what they're looking for in the job, and use some of the same words that they have in their application or in their posting that match that up. You might also be proactive and check out their website. And if you can locate value statements, company mission statements, things like that, and incorporate that into your cover letter, that shows that you do the research and that you're going to fit the culture of their company. So that second paragraph is sort of going to be tailored to that particular company and that particular job. You may well, some people are forward enough to say, I will be following up to find out, that you make sure you get my resume and so on. Some people are not that proactive, so it depends on how you feel. And then the last paragraph is basically, thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting with you so that I can discuss my qualifications in person, things like that. Basically asking for an interview in one way or another. I'd like you to actually find a job that you're interested in for this exercise, and then, post a link to that or cut and paste the job description, and then tailor your cover letter to that. So we can talk about how well your cover letter dovetails with the job posting that you've got. So that's going to be something that you're going to submit. I know in the learning plan I've got it done by a draft by 10/31, and then the final by 11/6. So wherever you are with that is fine with me. But let's try to get that moving along. The semester's slowly slipping away. Next up is a business card. Some folks already have these. I think it's a fun exercise. There's all sorts of different programs that you can use. Microsoft Word has a feature. I've got a link to Zazzle sample business cards. And I just think it's a great thing to have networking, especially when you're starting out. It's very professional to have a nice looking business card and hand that off to somebody as a contact person, as a contact for future reference. And so I think it's a tool that's not very expensive. That's really great to take along with you to a conference, or to have when you meet someone in any setting that might be somebody who can help you further your career. Next up is a professional email requesting a reference. I get asked to do references fairly often, and it's certainly it is protocol to make sure that you get that person's permission. The point of that is a couple things to make sure that they remember you. If it's somebody you're working with now, obviously that's not going to be an issue, but you want to make sure that you remind them who you are and what your relationship was with them and the good things that you did. And it's also helpful to tell them, like for me, tell me what position you're applying for. So that helps me, again, tailor my responses when they call me to highlight the talents that you have that I think their company will appreciate, so you can get that job. Professional email request is important, and then you really to do a better job of that. Make sure that once you do an interview, if you actually do an interview, then you call the person back or email them. Again, email is probably more efficient nowadays. And let them know that you had the interview and that they could be expecting the call. So that's another tool that you have, you should develop. And it's nice to have one already set so that you've got something so that it's easy to do. Lastly, as a follow-up letter, a thank you letter. And what we want here, this is probably an email rather than a full-blown letter. An email is fine. And it's really just it should be very professional, business-like, a business format of an email if you're going to do an email on this. But again, maybe a short 3-paragraph max, or less really, but just to let the person know you appreciated the time, and to maybe highlight something in the interview or something about the company that you found particularly attractive to you. You want to let them know you're still interested in the job. And then also, if there was something that happened during the interview that you feel as though you missed something, or maybe something that you felt, where you walk out of the interview and you say to yourself, wow, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have mentioned that. Those are things that you can use this follow-up letter, to kind of fill in any gaps or blanks. But the other real key with writing this follow-up letter is I actually use it as evidence that the person who I interviewed gets things done. So when I get a thank you letter the next day, that to me tells me something about that person, that I can expect that as an employee they're going to accomplish tasks in a timely fashion, and they're also going to that they understand professional protocol, and that they're a polite and respectful person. Having that follow-up letter, just have a canned version of it, makes it easier for you to accomplish. So you've got that in the bank, so to speak. And then when you do that interview, you think, okay, first thing I'm going to do is write my follow-up. I would not send it the same day. That's a little overeager, but you should really try to send it the next day. Just like I said, a short thank you, great to meet you, really interested in the job, looking forward to working with you, hope that's in our future, things like that. An upbeat follow-up. And then maybe another thing you can do in a follow-up letter was, if there's anything else after the interview that you would have liked to known about my my skill set and my, the things that I'll bring to your company, my strengths, that you would want to follow up, please feel free if there's anything else any other information I can provide you with. Things like that should be in your follow-up. So that's it for this learning plan. Really some fairly straightforward tasks, but again, it's always good to have a sample in your back pocket so that when these things occur, you're ready to go. All right. Couple posts in the discussion board. You've got the drop boxes down here, so all should be good.